Oh, all right. So I've been wanting to do this talk for a while. Um, this talk is on just debt elimination, how to get yourself out of debt. If you've gone down that road, you got some credit cards. I'm going to use an example of someone paying a mortgage, but even if you're a student, you just got credit cards and a car note and whatnot. Or you've gotten to the point where you've got so much debt, you're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of all this. I want to show you that's what this video is about. So get a pen, get a paper, get ready to take some notes and sit down, do your financial stuff. I'm going to be putting this on my website, ilovemattywash.com, and obviously on this YouTube channel. So if you're looking to get out of debt, here you go. But before I go into that, let's go into this. Hey, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you will find this information very valuable in increasing your wealth. And it would be a great help to me and to the growth of this channel if you could like and subscribe and hit the little buttons below. It's free and really helps me spend more time making more videos like this. So with that being said, I want to remind you that I am not a licensed financial advisor and you should do your own research before making any decisions. I truly want to help people become financially free, but my videos should just be one of the many resources you look at when making a financial decision. So down below, you will see a link towards my website, ilovemattywash.com. There you can, on that website, you can sign up to mine free crypto coin. You can get some free stocks by signing up either for Webull or Robinhood if you're new to the investing game. And also I have a whole bunch of free uh, net worth, budgeting, a whole bunch of tracking stuff, financial tracking stuff that you can find on there. Or if you want to support me and the channel more, you can also become a Patreon as we're building that community up as well with our Discord. So, all right, that's enough promotion. I'll let you get back to the video. All right, we're back here. And so what I'm going to talk about is what I call the debt waterfall. By the way, I just put this together. It's not fancy schmancy. Hopefully you can see it. So here's the thing. When you're talking, so we're going to do an example of 5 years, getting what you can do in 5 years with just using the same amount of money, but just being a little bit smarter in how you pay things, not just paying things. So I'm going to show you the differences and I'm going to go through real quickly what the debt waterfall is. So, and then I'll show you these examples here and explain these numbers that you're seeing and some more numbers are going to pop up. So let's say you have a couple of credit cards. You got credit card one, credit card two, credit card three. You got two cars, car notes, and a mortgage, right? So I'm just using these. You can put in whatever you want. You sit down when you use our budget, the budget program that I have here. It's over here. You have all your bills and and your liabilities here, right? So that's my own personal one, but you can go through your own. So come back to this. So I'm just going to use an example of three credit cards, two car loans, and a mortgage. So this is how you get rid of this debt. So this is long-term debt. This is not expenses and not stuff you're paying off. This is debt that you got a payment to make and you're trying to eliminate it. Now, also to make this example real simple, I've eliminated all the interest, all right, because it just makes the numbers all crazy. So I'm just gonna say pretend this all these interest rates. Obviously, there's two types of interest, whether you have like a car note and the interest just tagged on and it's just a part of the entire and you have the same payment, or like a mortgage where it's different, where you want to make sure your payments are going to your extra payments are going to your principal and not just paying interest and it gets readjusted. So that's a whole nother talk. So there's no interest involved in this, just straight numbers. Now, what the debt waterfall is it's saying, okay, so you have your minimum payments, right? So let's say these are your three credit cards. These are your balance. You had a $500 left on this, 1,000 on this, 5,000 on that one. All right. Yeah, car loan. You got a $20,000 car loan and a $40,000 car loan. All right. And let's say you have a home. Let's say it's $200,000 that you have left to pay off. All right. So let's say that's where you were starting out. Again, you start out where you want to start out or wherever you are. Now you have your minimum payments. Here's what you have to pay. Right. So this example here, this first example, is just how long it's going to take you. And I just did a 5-year tracking. So this is these numbers here are each month. If you made the payment, what it would be. Now, again, it's not exact because Obviously, with credit cards and whatnot, there's interest if you're not paying it on, if you're not paying the whole thing off at the end of the month and all that kind of stuff. We understand that, but we're going to take that out of the equation for right now, for this example. So what most people do is they'll either pay their minimum payments or they'll pay extra, but they'll try to pay off a card here or a card there. So in order for this to work, first thing you got to do is you got to say, it's got to be important to you. It's got to be like, I'm going to get out of debt, which means you got to stop digging. All right. That's step number one. Stop digging. If you're in a hole, stop digging. And understand that you're going to get out of it. All right. Eventually. And it's not going to happen all at one time. I remember when I had a lot of money problems, I had a mentor, and I was really hurting. And my mentor said, "Well, look," he's like, because I couldn't see an end. I was like, it's so much. Like I ran a business. I had business loans. I had payroll problems. I had all kinds of stuff. I just wasn't, I didn't have any financial education. And he sat down and we went through everything. And he said, "Look," he's like, you didn't get in this hole overnight. So why would you expect to get out of it overnight? Why would you expect it to go away fast? You've been, how long it took you this many years to get into this hole. Why would you think it's going to turn around in the next minute or in one big thing? So understand it's going to take some time. So I'm doing a 5-year projection here on this. So that's step number one. Now, step number two is whatever your payments are. So let's say these were your minimum payments that you had to pay on this. 35 for this credit card, 50 for this one, 75, 200, 400, 2000, right? So let's say that's your minimum payments. You have to stop. If you have to use your credit cards for anything, what I would do is I would make sure that once you decide to make this journey, that whatever you pay, whatever you buy on the credit card while you're trying to get out of debt, you pay off by the end of the month. If you don't have the money, you can't buy it. All right. So maybe once you get one of these credit cards paid off, or if you get a separate card, maybe you get a third card, if you need to use credit cards. And hey, I know things get hard sometimes and you got to do it, but you might want to have an emergency card and you say, hey, look, I got to pay this off. If I use it for groceries, I got to pay those groceries back. But try not to use any credit, while you're trying to get out of this debt hole, right? So don't put more debt on top. All right. Now, that being said, the way this works is what you do is you say, okay, look, these are all my minimum payments. I got to pay for this. So $27.60 is what I got to pay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay the minimum. And when this card gets paid off, now, when this card finally gets paid off, I'm going to take this payment. I'm going to be paying $27.60 for a long, long time. Because see, what most people do is they pay off that credit card, and then when it's paid off, the payments that they were making towards it, they go, okay, they just start spending that money, just goes into the ether again, right? Into the, I just spend money. So this 2760 never gets, until all your debt's gone, it's never going to go down, right? So what you would do is you pay this $35, right, until the card gets paid off. And then now in this example, this is like, you just get rid, like it doesn't move anywhere. But now what you do is you add it to the next payment. All right, so the 35, when this credit card's paid off, this $500 paid off. Now you pay $85. All right, the 50 plus the 35 to this next card. And then when you get to then when this one gets paid off, you pay the 85 plus the 75. So was that 160? So now you pay 160 for this card. So you're always paying the same amounts. This 27.6 is not going to change, but once you eliminate this one, you're adding it and you're compounding that payment. All right, and you'll see how this works in a little bit. So in this example here, this first example, this is if you just paid your minimum that you owe. Like, let's just say you just said, okay, this is my minimum. I'm just going to pay my minimums so my bill collectors leave me alone, and that's all I'm going to pay. So in 5 years, so if you were just paying $35 on this credit card, it's going to take you 14 months, 2 years and a year and 2 months to pay that card off. And then it's going to take you 19 months to pay this card off. All right. And then this $5,000 credit card paying $75 a month, you're not going to pay it off in that 5 years. You're still going to have $500 left. All right. Your car is going to go from 20,000 owed to 8,000 owed, in 5 years. This one's going to go to 16,000 owed. Now, if you're paying 400 on your second car, and your mortgage that you're paying $2,000 a month on, you'll have $80,000 left. All right. So altogether, you're still going to have $104,000 in debt. 104,500. Right. So this is how much you owed to start. This is how much you would have. You still have this 104,500, and so you would have paid off in 5 years $162,000 of this. Okay, so just basically that minus that. All right, so that's if you just paid the minimums, and just that's where you would be in 5 years. All right, so you would still have. So it's important that you we'll show this a little bit later. So you got 4 debts still going on. Now, let's say you know what, I can scrape together an extra $50 a week. I can cut back a little bit on things, or I can come up with an extra $50. So that's $200 a month, right? So this is what most people will do when they get, and again, this is put it relative to you. Some people that's a lot of money, some people that's like, yeah, no problem. But here's what somebody will do. So let's say the same scenario. They come up with an extra $200 and they're trying to pay things down. So look at what happens. So now this person isn't using the debt waterfall. They're just putting some extra money towards paying off these debts. So now they put $50 extra towards this credit card, $50 extra towards this credit card, $100 towards this credit card. So let's say they're trying to get rid of their credit cards first. So just by doing that little bit extra, you're cutting down. It's going to take you from 15 months down to 5 months to pay off this first card. All right. Now, with the debt waterfall, some people have two philosophies. One philosophy is actually there's 3 philosophies. Third one I don't like, so we're not even going to talk about it. But some people will say you take your whatever has the highest interest rate first. That should be the first thing that you try to pay down. All right. And I understand that philosophy, and that will help you save a little bit more money. All right. But the philosophy I subscribe to with the debt waterfall is that you start off with your smallest balance first. And the reason why I like this philosophy is, so let's say this first credit card was giving you were at like 24% interest, but this bigger one, this $5,000 you were at 12% or interest. So some people would say, oh, well, let's flip it around. If the 5,000 was at 24% interest and the 500 was at 12% interest, they might say, okay, pay off this one first. You should make this one their first one. You should go by interest rate. And again, not a bad philosophy. You can do it that way. My philosophy, the way I like to do this, is I put the smallest balance first. And the reason why I like this philosophy and doing it this way is, will it cost you a little bit extra in interest? Yes. But it's the idea of getting things done. Like, you feel good about it. It's like going to the gym for like the first week and you see a couple of pounds drop off and you're like, oh, this is awesome. But if you do it and you don't see any results, you get discouraged real quick. So the cool thing about what I like doing with the debt waterfall is having whatever the smallest amount is first. And that way you can also then start combining, you start that snowball going, right? Of taking that balance and then putting it to the next one and seeing that compound, right? So we're not even there yet, but this is what a typical person would do, is they'll say, okay, I'm going to put an extra 200. So they break it up. So extra $50, they've cut this down. They've cut that one down, after 9 months versus 20 months, to get to this, 10 to 20. So they've cut that one in half just by putting extra $50 in there. All right. Now the extra 100 for this credit card with the 5,000 balance takes 29 months versus not even getting there, right? In 5 years. So you could see there's the benefit of putting some extra money in. Now, let's say this person says, all right, I'm putting this extra 200 in. They knock this one out quick. They knock this one out after 10 months. And they say, okay, I'm going to put that extra $200. I'm going to put, this extra 100, right? That was here, that I was paying there. They're going to put it down here. So you see these payments go from, that's why it says 200 to 100. So they go from 200 each month. Now they're going to throw in the extra 100 here, right? So by doing that on their car note, you see it was gone from 8,000 after 5 years to 5,000, excuse me, to 3,000. So it's $5,000 more just by putting that extra 200 in there. All right. And then the extra 100 that they're putting in here towards this $5,000 credit card, now they start putting it over here. So it's gone from 400. See, from 400 now they're putting $500. All right. So that's cutting that down. So this works, right? That extra $200, just putting that extra money in, you can see how much better you'd feel about yourself. But let's kick it up some more, right? All right. So now this is an example of using the debt waterfall, or the debt snowball. Some people like to call it a snowball because it snowballs. I don't know why. I like the waterfall. I like waterfalls. All right. So my TLC fans out there, don't go chasing waterfalls, but chase this waterfall. Do this waterfall. All right. So you see here, now if you're comparing this, so this is paying just the minimum that you owe, and this is paying the minimum that you owe. So like this person's paying the minimum, and then once they pay off the card, they're like, okay, that card's done. I can get rid of it, and now I don't have to pay this money anymore. But this is what I was talking about before. So they're paying just the minimum balances, same thing as the person above, but what they're doing is they're not lowering this 2760, right? See, because like this person, if after they pay the credit card off, they're not paying that $35 payment anymore. So they're not paying 2760, they're paying 2725, right? So this person says, okay, that 35 I was paying towards the credit card, now I'm going to take that and roll it over, right? So this last payment here, so this is the sell before minus $50, right? Because this one's $50. So then the next month they were supposed to pay 35, but they only had to pay 10 to finish off the card, right? So they put an extra 25 on top of the 50, right? That's why it says 75 here. And then from then on, now it's 85 altogether because they're doing these combined payments onto this one. All right. So now they're down to 55 here. So now these two cards are paid off on month 17, whereas the top here, well, let's say month 18, these two aren't paid off until month 20. So they're 3 months shorter, paying off those two cards three months shorter, or 4 months shorter actually, just by using this technique, not paying any more money, just by not stopping, keeping the same, just rolling this over, right? So now what are they going to do? Now you're going to take this $85, right? You pay this 55. All right. So out of the 55, 85 plus minus 55 is $30, right? So you add that 30 to the 75, right? And that's why this says 105. All right. So now I'm still paying $85, but I only got to pay 55 to finish off that card. And now the rest of it's going into the next credit card. All right. And then the next week, everything. So now it's 35 plus 50 plus 75 is 160. So now I'm paying 160. Now, normally I would be paying that 160 all these cards, but now it's all going to this one. Make sense? All right. So now this one's paid off on month 40, whereas on the top line, that one never even got paid off. All right. So now it's 20 months shorter that they've eliminated this credit card. All right. These 3 credit cards, whereas they didn't even get to and finish this 3rd credit card off when they were doing it without this technique. All right. So now just to beat the dead horse here, now they're going to go and they're going to start hammering off these cars, right? So they were paying 160, right? So they paid 100 here. So they're paying, right, 200 a month for the credit for their car. So they pay the 100, 60 is going to the next payment, and the 200 they're already paying. So that's why it's 260. But then the next month, now it's up to 360 because there is no card up here. So it's the 160 plus the $200 payment. All right. And you can see now this is at 4,900 versus 8,000. Is that correct? Yes. All right. So now it's not going to affect doing it this way. You see now it takes the full 5 years. Now, if you keep going out, if we kept going out, it would affect the other ones. But the other ones are going to stay the same because we stopped this at 5 years. But they've cut down, they've gotten rid of all their credit card debt, and they're almost $3,000 lower, $3,100 lower on their on their car payment. All right. And that's not putting any extra money in. Right. So let's go to the next one, which is, we'll start getting exciting here. Right. So this is, I don't know why I skipped that one. So this is if they did that extra 200, but they use the waterfall, right? So if you're using the waterfall program, right, that whole 200 is going to go into this first credit card, right? So instead of breaking it up like, okay, I'll put 50 here, 50 there, 50 there, right? They leave all these other balances the normal. They just put the whole 200 in this first card, right? So they pay it off in 2 months. Bam. All right. So you feel good, right? It's like, I already eliminated one of these cards, gone. Well, or 3 months, let's say, so now it's gone. You already got one of them out of your way. Right now, as you can imagine, you're taking the extra 235. So you got minus, so now you got 205 plus the extra $50. So it's 255. And now you've paid this card off. So remember before we had the 200 with the split, it would take 10 months to get there. You paid this one off in 6 months. So you've cut that down by 4 months. All right. And you get the point. You keep going. Your third credit card here is paid off on month 19. It's gone, whereas up here it was month 29. So now you've cut off 10 months from there. And your car note, you actually make it in month 47. Your first car note is gone. Whereas here you never even made it there. You still had $3,000 left. So look at that. I mean, that's exciting, right? 13 months short, a whole year and a month of no car note on that, just by using the waterfall versus doing that split that people will do. All right. And then not even that, but they actually even got to they started now. Look at the amount of money you're putting in now. This person put $960 versus 400, because they're putting all these, because this number doesn't change. I'm flipping all over the place. This 2960, right? And this number, they stopped doing it, and they even if they did it the way they did it, that 2960, you're always paying. You're just saying, hey, this is what my monthly bill is to pay off my debt. I'm used to it. You're already used to paying that much, so just don't stop paying that much until all your debt's gone. All right. So this person is even cutting into their second car note. They're down $4,000 on their second car note. And you look overall, using the debt waterfall, up here, you had paid off after 5 years $95,000 worth of debt, where down here you had paid off, excuse me, this is that debt you have left. You have $95,000 left, where here you have 88,900 left. So you're 6,900 more by using the debt waterfall as opposed to just that split method. All right. And then I wanted to give one more exciting one here, and then I'll wrap this video up. I know it's already too long for most people, but whatever. So let's say you did an extra 400. Let's say you said, okay, $100 a week. I'm putting an extra $100 a week. I'm going to put in some extra time. I'm going to either work more, or I'm going to, cut back so I can have an extra $100 to get out of this debt mess. Right. And I will tell you, once you get out of the debt, it feels so good, to not owe people anything. Bad debt, good debt feels good too. But we'll talk about good debt in another video. All right. So extra 400, right? So now it's 435. These all stay the same. This thing's paid off by month 2. This thing's paid off by month 3, because you're rolling it. Now you're at 45, right? That you're paying. All right. This thing is done by month 11 as opposed to 19. So even before your first year, all your credit cards gone. Right. So if you have $6,500 in credit card debt, you're talking about eliminating that pretty quick. All right. Now, again, some people have a lot more credit card debt. Some people have a lot less. This is just examples, just showing you the technique. Okay. And I want to get you excited about using the technique. And it's really not hard. All right. It's not hard at all. So this car, your first car, it's paid off at 34 months. So what is that? Less than 3 years as opposed to 5. So you've cut that off. You've even paid off your second car. All right. That $40,000 is gone by using this. And this person's even, you notice none of these ever got to the house mortgage, right? But now look at this, the house mortgage, because this entire, you see this 3160, this entire amount is now going towards paying off so instead of 2,000, you're paying an extra $1,160 towards your mortgage, and it's all going towards the principal. It's eliminating the debt, and you could pay us off a ton faster by doing this, by using this. So um, there you go. So that's how you do this technique. I hope it's not too many numbers. I'm a numbers dude, so I like all these numbers. But um, use the debt waterfall. Figure out your liabilities, what's your minimum payments, what can you put extra towards it, and then that's my number. That's my debt number. Until all my debt's gone, I keep paying that number. I don't ever eliminate. If I pay off a card, I don't say, okay, well, that card's paid off, I don't got to make that payment anymore. You still make that payment. You just make that payment towards the next debt, and you'll be out of debt lickety split. All right. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this was great. Follow me on, please subscribe, as I already probably said in the video, and follow me on ilovemaddiewash.com. And I will talk to you on the next video.